Hey everybody, Rockin' Coach Amy here. Just filming a video, getting ready to go into the doctor's office to discuss the results of my hormone panel and my recheck of my thyroid. So we will get that. And the other thing I'm going to ask while I'm in there, just because a conversation came up last night on another live stream, when the last time my A1C fasting insulin and if I've had my C-reactive protein test, which I have never had that tested. A1C was a couple years ago and it was 5.1, and I do not believe I've had fasting insulin tested. I can't remember. So I'm going to go in there and ask to see if I can have those things tested today. They have a lab right in the doctor's office. I have fasted. I have had some coffee. I know that's controversial, but if these tests do not come back good, then I will go order my own labs and I will not have coffee, and I'll get it done first thing in the morning. It is 10:15 right now, so I will talk to you all when I get out of the doctor's office. See you soon. Okay guys, just got out of the doctor's office. That was very interesting. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. I think I deserve this. So thank you. So, sorry, a car just pulled out and stopped for me. Thank you, kind sir. So what's going on? Well, as you know, since I've gone carnivore, my cholesterol is off the charts, and I've gained 25 pounds or so. I don't know. I really haven't stepped on the scale. We're both in agreement that I would like to be about 155 pounds. He offered the GLP-1s again, and I kindly said no thank you, and then he offered me some other, sorry about that, some natural supplement, which I would consider taking that, but I have to do some research on that and find out what it is, what the side effects are, how most likely those side effects will affect me. Okay, it's really sunny out, guys, sorry about that. So he wants me to take the supplement. I can't remember what it's called, but it will be in my chart, so I will tell you guys that later. The other thing was, he is like, I want to put you on a statin because your cholesterol's high. And I told him, Doc, I said my cholesterol's high because I switched to a high-fat carnivore diet. Before I did that, when I was eating a lower-fat carnivore diet or ketogenic diet, my cholesterol was in range. And we also talked about my hormones. I said I don't really want to go on a statin. And he said, well, okay, so he ordered all these tests. He ordered what is that? A calcium score, coronary artery calcium score, which I'm going to do because I've been curious about that anyway. And then he ordered the ApoB, little A and B, I believe, to see what type of cholesterol that I have. He said if my CAC score is 0 to 300, I'll be fine, but if it's over 300, I have to go on a statin. So I'm gonna have to get my ducks in a row and be prepared about what I'm gonna say, because I'm not going on a statin, folks. I'm not going on Repatha. I'm not going on any of that. And I understand the risks, but I got to provide him with some literature to back up my argument. So I have some things from Dr. Berry and Dr. Kiltz that I know I can download and hand to him when we get these results back. So I'm going to get the CAC score. He's already tested the advanced lipid panel. I asked for a C-reactive protein. He said yes, so he ordered that. I asked for fasting insulin. He took that. I asked for my A1C to be checked, even though I know I'm not diabetic. He said the insurance will not pay for it, and I said I'll pay for it. So either you can order it, or I will go to ownyourownlabs.com. And he's like, well, it will be cheaper here, so I'll order it. And I'm like, I'll pay for it. He's like, that's fine. So I like that he preemptively ordered all the tests that I would have suggested to order without me even asking. So I thought that was good. This cholesterol is going to be an issue, though. going to be an issue with him. The other thing he suggested is that both my husband and I get full body MRIs done to look for tumors, which I thought was interesting. I'm not opposed to it, but he's like, it's $4,000 for me. Now for my husband has a diagnosis of MGUS, so he has to get full body PET scans done like once every year, once every 2 years to look for tumors, and he's like, his might be covered. For those of you who don't know, MGUS is the precursor to multiple myeloma. So there was that. The other thing we talked about were the hormones. So I am in menopause. He didn't say anything about the thyroid, and we were just going so fast back and forth. It kind of went back and forth. But my thyroid panel all came in range, so I'm not going to pursue taking any thyroid medications right now. Where I think my problem lies is my estrogen is very low, meaning I'm in menopause, okay? And I have no way of knowing other than because I had a hysterectomy in 2023, so I have no idea whether or not I was in menopause except for estrogen. He is hesitant, and so am I, to go on hormone replacement because of the high risk of breast cancer in my family. He has suggested I get the Brocagene. And I said, well, I asked at the last appointment with the PA, what is the benefit to getting the Brocagene testing done? And he says, well, then you can have a double mastectomy done preemptively. I'm like, if it comes back positive. I'm like, I will do the Brocagene testing, but I'm not just going to go lop off a body part in, the event that I get, preventing that cancer. I'm sorry, guys. That's just me. This is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor, but I've had 7 surgeries in my adult life. And I know that's a big risk factor, but I'm just not sure that I am ready to undergo another surgery like that just because a test comes back positive. And he brought up Angelina Jolie, and he said she's the only one in her family who survived breast cancer because she had the preemptive surgery. So I guess that would be something I would have to think about. But I'm over surgery, guys. I'm tired of I've had 7 surgeries in my adult life. I'm tired of it. I don't want to have any more surgeries. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from surgeries. So just to go in and do that. Now, am I terrified of cancer? Yes, because the cancer that has run in my family, on all sides of the family, be it colon cancer, breast cancer. Not quite sure what my grandmother had. It could have been lung cancer from smoking, or it could have been breast cancer. That was back in the 80s, and back then they didn't have the testing technology that we do today. So my sister was kind enough to send me her test, and I uploaded that to my doctor. And if insurance pays for it, I will get the Brocagene testing done. If they don't pay for it, then I don't know. I think they said it was like $400 or something like that. So we'll see. But Quest Labs is supposed to give me a call, and they are going to ask me some questions, and then we will find out if I'm going to get Brocagene tested. So that was the appointment. I'm curious to know about my advanced lipid panel. I think that is going to be like, and the CAC score. But then again, the CAC score, I did a lot of damage to my body up until this point in my life, right? So who's to say the CAC damage wasn't from when I was almost 300 pounds? So when we get that back, I'm going to have that ammunition prepared to what I'm going to say to the doctor, because if it is over 300, which I'm 50 years old, there's a good chance it is, he's going to want to, he said, you will have to go on a statin, he said. So, yeah. We'll see. Alright guys, I am going to pause this for a minute because I am at the accountant's and I need to go in and pay for my taxes. And I'll be back. Thanks. Well, that was good news. Just got out of the accountant and we're getting a pretty sizable refund from the state and federal. We don't know. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'm a little nervous now about these tests, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm alive. I'm breathing every day. So there's that. And one step at a time, right? And if I have to go into the doctor and explain why I don't want to go on a cholesterol medication. And guys, these doctors aren't evil. They are just doing their jobs. This is what they've been trained to do. And, oh, the other weird thing the doctor told me that I thought I wasn't combative about this. So I told him I started feeling better on a high-fat carnivore diet, right? I said, since I changed my diet, my symptoms have gotten so much better. And his response was, you know why that is? And I'm like, because fat regulates hormones. And he goes, no. He's like, because they're putting hormones in meat. So that's why I'm feeling better, is because they're putting hormones in meat. All right, whatever. I didn't argue with him. In our coaching class, they taught us not to be combative with the doctors, you know, just, okay. So, we're just going to have to gently have a conversation about the cholesterol. Dr. Del Pilar, if you're watching this, which I doubt you are, who's my new doctor. I respect you. I like you. I think you're a smart guy. I think you're doing what you were trained to do. But I have some information under my belt and some studies that show cholesterol. You can have a heart attack if you have low cholesterol. You can have a heart attack if you have high cholesterol. I think the type of cholesterol matters. So like I said, I'm really glad that he is running the advanced lipid panel. So we'll see if I have the big fluffy cholesterol, or we'll see if I have the small, dense, dangerous cholesterol, the LDL. So I will be interested in hearing all of that and seeing what it is. And I will go get the calcium score done. Although after watching Dr. Kiltz's video and his high calcium score, I mean, if it comes back high, I don't want to freak out. So we will find out. Thank you guys for doing this little follow-up with me. There'll probably be a walk and talk later, but we will see. Have a great day, Keto Rockstars. Hey, Keto Rockstars. Rockin' Coach Amy here. Oh boy, where do I begin? So I did some filming in my car earlier, and I'm gonna get going on my walk here. Sun's right in my eyes, so I have a hard time looking at the camera, but that's okay. We'll go from there. It's been a day, guys. It's been a day. Not even sure where to begin. So, my husband, as I told you yesterday, and I got his permission today to talk about this, but my husband had an issue yesterday. Woohoo! Good job! My husband had an issue yesterday that he had a cyst removed from his head. I described this in the last video, but he had a cyst in his head that had been there for like 10 years. A previous doctor did not do anything with it, I think because he didn't want to mess with it, right? And said it was nothing. And so this doctor says that's definitely something and we need to remove it and have it tested and biopsied. So he did, and it's a good thing he did because it was filled with infection, some like 5 different strains of bacteria. So he removed it and tested it, and then he injected my husband with some strong antibiotic shots and put him on like 2 or 3 different antibiotics. Then in the course of that, those antibiotics gave him a different infection. I'm not going to basically talk too much about that, but it gave him a different infection, and he had to go back and stop those medications and switch to a different medication. So that medication, we think, then caused something called, those antibiotics caused something called Stevens-Johnson syndrome, which is a very serious condition where like your whole body breaks out in rash. Your tissues in your body start to get red and inflamed. It can really affect your skin very bad, to the point where if it's severe enough, it can start pulling your skin away from underneath the skin, and you get terrible sores in your mouth, and it can become fatal. So I had my doctor's appointment this morning, which I kind of talked to you about. Then I got home and worked. He came home from work and he could barely walk because the bottom of his feet is blistered and bleeding. His feet are bleeding and blistered, and he can barely walk. And he's a truck driver. He's retiring in 3 months at the end of May. And he's just trying to go along until he can get done with this job, right? And for whatever reason, it's a struggle every day. It has just been a struggle every day for him. So he went to work today and toughed it out, and then he went to the doctor's appointment, and then he screenshotted that condition and sent it to me, and I read it. And of course I looked it up, because that's what I do, right? I look things up, and I freaked out because it said it's a very serious condition. Most people are hospitalized with this. And so I immediately told my boss that I need to go be with him, because there's a chance he could be going to the emergency room. So I went to the doctor, and they had hooked him up to an IV bag full of saline and steroids to hopefully calm the condition down. And mind you, he can't eat very well because he's got bleeding sores on the inside of his mouth. It's so painful. Yesterday I thought, how is this man going to go to work? I even asked him yesterday if he thought he was going to go to work. I don't know how he did it. And so the doctor wants him to come back tomorrow and get another bag of saline and steroids. He's trying to keep him out of the emergency room, because I'll be honest with you, last time I went to the emergency room with a family member for kidney stones, the family member had to wait there 8 hours before they got help, right? So, oh, by the way, I'm going to try to make it 2 miles. So I'm going to try to make it 4 times around. I need to walk today. I need to be outside. So they hooked him up to the IV bag and they sent him home. Thank goodness he did not have to go to the ER, because, I mean, the ER serves a purpose, but I've seen people waiting in the ER after having like a bad motorcycle accident. The ambulance picks them up, drops them off, and dumps them into the waiting room. That's just how it is. So I'm like, okay, this new doctor of mine, he recognized what Dennis had right away, which is a good thing, because I don't know how many doctors have actually seen this syndrome and could recognize it and treat it immediately. So I may be able to forgive him a little bit for trying to prescribe me a statin earlier. So this all happened. It was very stressful. So hopefully by tomorrow he starts feeling better. And of course, you know me, I always ask questions like, on a scale of 1 to 10. Hold on, somebody's messaging me. Be right back. Okay, so I asked the doctor on a scale of 1 to 10, right? And I'm assuming you've seen cases of this before. How bad is this? Luckily, he said it was on the milder side, but knowing what I know and seeing his rash and seeing his bleeding feet, and last night he actually had blood in his mouth from the sores in his mouth, and I was honestly worried then. So when he screenshotted that syndrome and showed it to me, I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go be with him. This could be serious. He may have to go to the emergency room. Luckily, he's at home now, but the stress of all that kind of stuff just wipes you out. For me, cortisol, right? All the things I'm talking about, trying to fix. And it's like everyday life happens. So I came home, missed an hour and a half of work for my doctor's appointment, and then I left an hour and a half early, so I missed 3 hours of work today. On top of that, I don't really like to talk about my job much because I love my job, and at like any job there are stressful things, but I had a stressful meeting that I hosted today. It wasn't anything too bad, but it was just like some things happened in it that kind of set my mind in a negative place. So I was dealing with that, and then the thing with my husband happened right after that. So sorry if I look a little tired and drained. Oh, also, I was up till like 1:30 last night in the morning because I had found out that I am friends with the family of the little boy that passed away because of the tornado. So I really was just kind of upset by that. So there was that. So I didn't get sleep last night. And then, and I missed the Kilt Zoom call tonight, which I've been trying to make those regularly. So if anybody wondered where I was, which I'm sure people come and go on those, not a big deal. If anybody wondered where I was dealing with my husband at the doctor. Ooh, it's starting to get a little chilly out here. I might have to put my coat on. Wait till I get back to the house and do it. But so I was dealing with that. I'm going to try to pick up the pace a little bit. This feels good. You can see the sun setting behind me. So yeah, that was my day. And I just told my husband, like, you going to be good for a little bit? I'm going to go walking around the block. And he said he was fine. Oh, so all he could eat, he can't eat because he has sores in his mouth. And I laid out all this meat to cook for the next few days, but he has these open sores, and even meat is hard to eat right now. So I made him some eggs. I made him 5 over medium eggs. I stopped at the store and bought some cottage cheese. And so he was able to eat the cottage cheese. And then I forgot that I had some keto chow ice cream in the freezer. So even though I'm not eating that right now, I'm so very glad that I had the ability to make that ice cream, because it felt good on the sores. The cold felt good on the sores in his mouth, right? I'm gonna sit you guys down on the trash cans here for a second while I put my jacket on, because it's a little chilly. The other thing, while I'm putting my jacket on, don't know if I can just prop that up there. I'm putting my jacket on. I'm missing choir rehearsal tonight because I don't want to leave him. I don't want to leave him home alone. Tomorrow I do have to go into the office, so I told him if anything happens to dial 911, keep the front door unlocked. Kind of like what I did when I was having my medical event with the high blood pressure there. That's a little better. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. All right, we're gonna pick up the pace a little bit. So I told him to leave the front door unlocked, and if there's any issues tomorrow, to call 911. And don't even worry about it, just go straight to the ER. Now, the doctor did say, and I found this interesting, he was taking Benadryl because the doctor told him to take some Benadryl. Come to find out, the syndrome, it is not an allergic reaction. It is a side effect to the medication itself. And the thing that I am struggling with is he took 4 or 5 different new medications all at once, right? And then the doctor switched his arthritis medication. And so I'm like, the doctor and Dennis and I were talking, we're like, which one of these caused it? We have no way of knowing, right? We have no way of knowing which one of these medications caused it because he was taking so many at once. Now, maybe it was a combination of them, but usually when you get this syndrome, it's caused by one medication, and it's a side effect of it. It's not actually an allergic reaction. And again, it's very serious. It could be deadly. So, yeah, so that's what happened today. So, I wasn't planning on talking about this today. I was planning on talking about another topic. A lot of people have talked about this on their channels. Chris Cook in Nashville being one, Dustin being another one. And I'm starting to notice it too. And it actually was directed at me this weekend. And granted, I'm not hurt or upset. I mean, I'm a little annoyed, but I went on a panel. I went on a channel panel, right? And I mentioned that in the past, I had tried something, right? I tried something. This thing was protein sparing modified fasting. And guess what? It worked for me for 4 years. It broke me through a 2-year stall. I mentioned the name Maria Emmerich, and without saying a swear word, people lost their crap, right? They didn't let me finish my sentence. They jumped all over it. They're like, well, that's the worst thing ever, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, thank goodness for the panel host and one other person on there. The panel host said, you know what, guys? She's not a newbie. She's been doing this for quite a while. I've been on this journey for 8 years, folks. So my point to all this is, it didn't bother me in the point that I can't take it because I do have a thick skin. Things annoy me, but they don't stop me from getting myself out there. You know, when people post nasty, rude comments on my videos, I'm usually like, thank you for watching, right? And I move on. It doesn't bring me down. It doesn't depress me. I've never really been that way. I get more hurt by loved ones than I do people through the internet. Kind of like the work thing today. I'm already over it. It's fine. I'm more concerned about the things that matter in life, like my loved ones' health, my health. But my point of all this is remember, when you go on someone else's channel or you're talking to someone and you don't know their whole story, exactly it, you don't know their whole story. I was just trying to tell a little bit of my story and a point of reference of why I think that I'm having issues right now. And before I could even get to the point, 3 people jumped all over it and wouldn't let me finish. And it's like, Dustin and Chris Cook in Nashville talk about this kind of thing a lot. Like, some of the communities are very judgmental. And I'm just going to throw this out here because my opinion has changed a little bit over time. But one of the reasons I didn't go carnivore sooner was because I would go into some of the communities and they would, I would go into some of the communities. Sorry, there's a car trying to turn here, so I'm kicking it up a notch. They would go into the communities and people would be jumping all over people for like 1 bite of cheese, or I'll use Pretzel Pete, 3 pretzels, right? That's not really a fair fight though, because I kind of picked on Pete, so scratch that one. But you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, at the time I wasn't really feeling bad being ketogenic PSMF. I was feeling great. So I'm like, why are these people being like this? Why are they jumping on someone? And another person stated, we're overcomplicating this. Like, just eat the meat. Well, guess what? For some of us, there's other things that need to be looked into. It's not as easy as just eat the meat. I have been going through all of this stuff with my thyroid being testing high, my thyroid being testing low. Now my estrogen is for certain low, right? And it's not just as simple as eat the meat, because if it was just about eat the meat, then why am I still having issues, right?
And don't say it's because I've been eating the meat long enough, because that's just, guys, not everybody fits into the same box. So those of you who, in my opinion, say, you know, yeah, we are all basically humans, but some of us humans have different things that we're healing from, some different conditions that may never heal. Men are different than women. I'm not like a feminist or anything, but when it comes to this health stuff, it does get a little irritating when a man tells a woman, well, you should just do this, and this is what your problem is. Because, okay, tell that to my ovaries, guys. Just kidding, you know. I don't want to go down that path, but it is kind of true. Everybody's different. Even though we're all the same, there are some differences. I mean, some people have some very, very severe illnesses that, you know, might get better with just eating meat, but maybe not totally 100% cured, right? So keep that in mind when you go on other panels. If you don't know somebody, you don't know what their journey is, don't in the first 5 minutes just jump on them and say, look, you know, don't take a statin. It's like, guys, come on. I've been here for 8 years doing this stuff. I've gone through 2 coaching programs. I'm not trying to prop myself up, but it's like some of the comments were like, oh, she's a newbie. I'm not a newbie, guys. And others out there may not be either. Anyway, that was what I originally wanted to come on. Now, if people ask questions, answer with kindness, right? Let them know that this community is here to support. That's what this is really about. You know, not to correct other people who we think aren't doing it the way we think it should be done, right? They even taught us that in a coaching class. We got to meet people where they are. And if we're in a carnivore community and they're still eating keto, kill them with kindness, guys, right? Don't judge. Don't correct them. Maybe share your story. Say, well, you know, I used to eat keto, but when I did XYZ is when I really noticed a difference. But don't point the finger at other people. That's a sure way to turn people off and get them to run the other direction, right? So those are kind of the things. Oh, I've walked a mile. I only have 2 more laps to go. I'm talking for 13 minutes. Gosh, I'm so tired. The sun's starting to go down. Probably gonna go to bed early tonight. I say that every night and then I don't go to sleep. But tonight I'm really gonna try to do it. Just because today was just one of those days that I just barely hanging on here. So anyway, kill them with kindness. Don't boss people around. I mean, yes, we're allowed to have differing opinions, but I think there's a time and a place and a way to do it, you know, and honestly, I don't regret trying PSMF. It broke me through a 2-year stall, right? I felt great for 4 years. Honestly, I would probably still feel great on PSMF if it weren't for my ovaries are shutting down. And sorry for the men out there if you stop watching me. I need to talk about this because this is a real thing. Which brings me back to, I put on what? I don't even know what I weigh. I'm sure it's like 25, maybe close to 30 pounds. I haven't even weighed myself. I thought about it this morning and I said, nah. Instead, I'm going to stick to, I'm actually going to reduce the amount of food I'm bringing in. Because I seem to stop hemorrhaging or gaining the weight when I did that. So I'm going to try to eat less, even though I'm still hungry all the time. And when the stress hits late at night, when I'm trying to get things done and my list seems like it's too long to accomplish, I'm going to try to drink some more water with electrolytes rather than go for the carnivore snacks, right? And I'm totally not doing cheese again. Just because I know everyone talks about it. even though that's my comfort food. Ever since I had that surgery, I've been trying to stay away from it, but it seems to creep back into my mouth. So trying to get off the cheese. No snacking. I'm just going to try to stick to the 2 meals, right? My first meal at noon. Today I had a Jones sausage patty. I had 2 pieces of bacon and I had 4 eggs and 1 pat of butter. For dinner, I usually do 2 hamburger patties and I accidentally cooked 2, so I ate 2. 4 eggs, and 1 pat of butter. I'm gonna try to make my evening meal 1 hamburger patty, 4 eggs next time, but oh man, my allergies are starting to creep up. It's that time of year, folks. This is really and somebody's burning. Oh, when they burn leaves. We started snowing here in October, so we really didn't get the leaf cleanup done. So people are burning their leaves in the spring, and that really agitates my sinuses, that leaf smoke. Oh my gosh. Halfway through this lap. Hopefully I'm inspiring you guys to walk with me, right? I'm gonna try to do this several times a week, maybe not every day. Some days when the weather's not nice, I'll be on the treadmill. Oh my goodness. Sorry, my mind is not clear right now. Just a lot happened today. Back to the doctor. He mentioned a GLP-1 again. I think I said that in my earlier driving video. And I was like, no, I don't want to go on that. And I explained to him most medications I go on, I usually have terrible side effects. Look at the armor. So I kind of got him off that topic. Then he talked about this coronary artery scan, which I was actually really surprised that he suggested that. Usually if you want one, you have to ask for one. He's doing an ApoB test, like I mentioned before. So I'll be curious to see what that is. I'm not going to freak out if any of it comes back, but I will share it with you. Now, he did say if the CAC scan comes back 300 or above, he's like, you will be required to go on a statin. And I was just like, oh no. I thought osteopathic doctors were a little better about that, right? So, again, I'm going to get some of my documentation together and take it into him and buy him a book. The Cholesterol Myth by Stephen Sinatra. It's one of my favorite books. Haven't read it in a while. I have the audio book, so maybe I'll start doing that right now. I am listening to Elizabeth Bright's The Thyroid and Adrenals book. That's the book that I'm listening to right now. Hopefully this isn't too jumpy for you. I'm holding this little selfie stick and I look ridiculous. I look ridiculous filming, walking. And these rocks here that I showed you yesterday are just not good. Okay, I still have 1 more lap to go. Actually 1.5. But I think I'm done talking now. And I don't want to make this video overly long. So I will follow up with you all and talk at you later. Thank you, Keto Rockstar. See you in the next video.